And we're going to kick off the summit with an amazing keynote speaker, Amanda Gore. She comes to us all the way from Australia. She's a ball of energy. She's the queen of joy. She's here to renew your energy, reduce your stress, and make you happier people. So please put your hands together and help me welcome to the stage, Amanda Gore.
Why am I not on? I'm on.
You're on. You're on.
Yeah, so to speak, I'm on. So with the accent, you can tell I'm an Aussie, and Doug mentioned it. But just let me get a feel for the group. How many of you wake up every morning full of energy, vitality, and joy? Oh, you're already an unusual group. Normally it's like 3 people. How many of you go home every night full of energy, vitality, and joy? A few less. How many just want to remember what it was like to have energy, vitality, and joy? Well, that's because we all work so hard. And I have to say, I've been speaking, I'm a physical therapist, so I'm kind of in the same genre. But I've been speaking for about 35 years. And this is one of the most amazing starts to a conference I've ever seen. It's like huge. So go you guys for being part of a particularly special group, I'd like to say. But have any of you read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber? A few of you, not so many. Well, basically it stands for the entrepreneur's myth. And in his book, he writes that most entrepreneurs fail because they're too busy working in their businesses and they're not taking time out to work on their businesses. So go you, because this event is working on your business. But I also like to talk about the fact that most of us are working in our lives. We're too busy working in our lives and we're not taking time out to work on our lives. And the great blessing of the opportunity to do something like this is that you're also now working on your lives. And these two, they're almost like the Bobbsey twins, they're so cute. They've created this wonderful opportunity where you can work on it. Because, unless we focus on finding a bit more joy, it doesn't just automatically happen. So how many of you have heard of the bell curve? Almost everybody should have heard of the bell curve. If you haven't heard of the bell curve, this is what it is. It's a curve shaped like this, and it's roughly split into 3, and whenever you get more than 3 people, the bell curve is represented. So this is a particularly special group, and I don't say this all the time, it's true, and I'll show you how you differ in a minute. But as I go through this, I want you to be really honest with yourself, because you all fit into it somewhere. And all your practices will fit into it somewhere. And just by the by, I was at a digital marketing conference in Australia a few months ago. Now, it's digital marketing. So everybody in the room is 12. And the geriatric in the room, who was 28, stood up and started talking about... Now, this is an event where we're talking about bits and bots and bytes and B2B and B2C and little numbery things everywhere and words I'd never heard of. Well, this young man stands up and he says, interestingly, in the digital world, everything's progressing very fast, but we're forgetting the most important thing, and that is H to H. Now, what do you think that is? Human to human. Oh, look, your faces. What could that be? It's like, now seriously, who do we work with every single day? Humans. You're looking at me blankly. What? And we forget. How much do you reckon humans have changed in the last 1,000 years? Not. We haven't. Fundamentally, we're still the same. Everything else around us is swirling and changing, and it's transformed, and it's always changing, and everything's different. But humans stay the same. And when we're in these allied health professions or in health professions, we know that better than anyone. But if we bring H to H over to here, human to human, and honest to honest, in this part of the curve, these are all the successful people. I haven't got time to write the whole word that says successful. And they are the ones who have a growth mindset. Have you all heard of mindsets lately? It's the buzzword, yes? Who's heard of mindsets? Buzzword. And interestingly, the opposite is a fixed mindset. And fixed mindsets are based on fear. But the growth mindset is based on joy. The people up this end, they have more joy in their lives because they're conscious about it. And these people focus on gratitude. And these people, that's got to, there we go. These people, they are entitled. How many people have worked with Gen X or Gen Ys? And how many in the room are Gen X and Gen Y? And yes, and we look at them, and the baby boomers who created them, we're the ones who walk around whinging and moaning about them. Oh, they're so entitled. And the truth is, it's not just the generation, but they're more likely to ask for what they want. And they don't want money as much as they want to be happy at work. And people look at a joyful environment, and you've seen books on happiness coming out now, and people used to poo-poo it. But now we know that if you've got a joyful work environment, people are 31% more productive. They make 18% less errors, which would be really good for you guys. And they have 125% less burnout. So joy at work really matters. And gratitude matters. So there's the entitled mob down here. These are the people that you really want to have. These are the wonderful, enthusiastic, alive people. They're fully alive. That says alive, I haven't got time. In the middle, there's a huge bunch where people are just average. And I don't know anyone who consciously wakes up in the morning and goes, I just want to be average today. I just want to peak at average. No one does that. But millions of us are every day because we're not conscious. And these people just exist. And down here, and remember, every one of you fits into this curve somewhere. So be honest. And if you're sitting there thinking, she's a bitch, you're going to find out where you fit. Because the people down here, these people suck. And they're the ones who bitch and moan and complain about everything. And anybody who's sitting here now going, I don't like her. So remember, now, have you ever worked with an energy sucker? Now, and if you're sitting there going, no. Could be you. Anyway, just ask the people either side of you, because you all walked around in clumps. And here's the other thing. Stop with the walking around with the people you work with every day. Like, you're all huddled. You're like in a huddle. It's like, oh, we're moving as a pack. Stop it. You've come to this event to meet new people, to network, to get new ideas. Go talk to people. Don't even spend 2 minutes with the people you work with every single day. Go and meet people everywhere. And to help you do this, you're probably sitting with the people you work with every day, but oh well. With Christine Cashin, who's fabulous, tomorrow morning, sit with someone different. In fact, every time you go to a session, sit with someone different, meet someone new, and do this with them. So on the count of 3, I want you to turn to the person on one side of you, and these fancy-wancy chairs down the front. How good is this? Like, whoever has fancy-wancy chairs down the front? Like you, like orthopreneur people, are very different. So, on the count of 3, you're going to look at the person on one side of you, and then the other, you're going to look deeply into their eyes. Okay, stop. It's like, you might have fancy-wancy chairs, but you're just like others. How many of you, in that moment, I said you're going to look deeply into the eyes of the other person, went, and then you went immediately, we're going to talk about F words today, to faux what? What do you think faux what is? Fear of what others think. And I hate to burst your bubble, but no one else is ever thinking about you. Ever. Seriously, people forget that. I used to live in Dallas. I spent 5 years living in Dallas. OMG, they've made this an art form. Yeah, big hair, big everything. I never, it's like, but people are never thinking about you, seriously. When I said turn to the person, look into their eyes, what, you think they're sitting there going, this is going to be hard for you. It's going to be interesting for you. No! You vaporized in an instant while they went inside and went, what? She wants us to look at somebody else in the eyes, but I don't know them, but I'm a bloke, and that's a bloke, and that's a girl I don't know. I can't look into their eye. Stop it. Everybody, on the count of 3, quickly turn to the person on one side and then the other side. Put your phones down right now. Important people sitting in the fancy chairs at the front. And be present. And on the count of 3, say, stop it. Wait, before you do it. Wait, I haven't counted to 3. You're a very enthusiastic group. And here's the other thing. If you choose to sit there and be on your mobile devices, if you're taking notes, okay. That's the only reason you can be on your device. Unless you're about to give birth and someone's in the hospital, keep those phones out of sight. Every time you use a phone, what do? H2H. You disconnect. You completely disconnect. If we talk about heart to heart, if you want to connect with your team members, your colleagues, if you want to connect with your, do you call them patients? Sometimes people call them, patients, such a word. Anyway, so for you to connect with your patients, which puts them in a sick role, I just want to throw out there, you could find another word for them, like I did as a physical therapist. Anyway, so, every time you disconnect from them heart to heart, they lose faith in you. And that is the most important thing that you guys have, their confidence and faith in you. Now, I know you're not going to be sitting there looking in someone's mouth and go, oh, hang on a second, and answer a social text message, But watch how much you do it in real life. Watch how much you do it when you go out to dinner. Just observe how addicted you are to your phone, because it is separating you heart from heart. So, on the count of 3, you're going to yell with enthusiasm, because the people at this end of the curve, they are going, awesome! I love things where you get involved. These people are going, she's very energetic. And these people are going, she's a bitch. So, notice where you are in this curve, because here is your opportunity. We're going to do C words as well, to oh no, you spell it out. It's C-M-O-L-Y. What is it? Yell it out. Help me, consciously. They're a very quiet group out there. What, you're waiting for somebody? I can't spell it. Yeah, anyway, whatever it says. It's consciously. To choose consciously. Anyway, that says choose. So, I haven't got much time. Now, in terms of every moment of every day, are you making a choice? Yes, of course you are. And here's the interesting thing. You are either going to choose to look at the person on either side of you and go, stop it, and have some fun and make it joyful, or you will choose to go, stop it. Stop it. Well, like, what do you call those things in a kitchen with gas? Menopause takes the words away. What is it? Stove, yeah, stove, thanks. So, a gas stove, it's got a pilot light. And if you turn a switch one way, the pilot light goes whoomph and ignites into flame. And if you turn the other way, it just dies. Well, every single person you meet has got a pilot light inside their hearts. Every person. Oh, look, he's on his phone. And every one of us, punch him, every nanosecond of every day, you make a choice to either ignite someone's spirit or to look at them and go like this. And I call these people spirit foofers. Now, it's a choice. Do you wake up in the morning and choose to be positive, to try to ignite people's spirits, to do whatever it takes to get their eyes to sparkle? Or do you wake up and think, I feel awful, life sucks, I'm going to die, I'm going to kill everybody. And those who are laughing the loudest, you probably have a foofer in your office. And what's it like when you have one foofer? If you take nothing from my session, take away this. One foofer will suck the whole group down. And the day the foofer leaves your office, what happens? It's like Joy City. Everybody's laughing. The team's working well together. You must go back and manage out the foofers. You either turn them into igniters or you get rid of them. Send them somewhere that's really unprogressive and slow, because they'll be happy there. But the truth is, they're not happy at your place. So you're going to love this. These people particularly are going to love this. On the count of 3, you're going to look at the person on one side of you, look deeply into their eyes, say, stop it, to get rid of the faux what, and then you're going to do this. And this will also help you, men and women, communicate better, particularly the men. So you are going to say, exactly as I'm doing it, so watch, put the PDAs down. down and go, I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. Now, your face has to go like this too. Because, see, when women communicate, fellas, we move our face, our voice, our hands, our eyebrows, everything. Women are loving what I'm doing right now. This is driving the men nuts. Because this is the way men communicate, ladies, remember this. Men, when they communicate, keep their bodies very, very still. They keep their faces flat. They don't move much. I actually can only do this for a very short period of time before my brain stops working because my eyebrows are not moving. And the thing is, and now it starts to get staccato, the thing is that I'm not even saying anything that's relevant or important now, but if you look around the room, every single man in the room has suddenly gone, because now I'm saying something important. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the way men speak to each other. And as soon as I slip back into female speak, the guys go, oh, look, a blonde. Yeah, like, no. It's just the way men and women communicate. So when you do this, and by the way, this corridor is not a chasm. You've each got a partner on the other side of the little corridor. So you're going to look over and say, stop it, with a lot of energy, and then, I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. And make sure your face matches your hands, right? And you're going to move your hands too. And if you're sitting next to, wait till I count to 3. If you're sitting next to someone who turns to you and goes, stop it. I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. There, I did it. Help them, because they don't know they're a foofer. They are so used to being a foofer, they have no clue they're a foofer. So all you've got to do is look at them and go, and you know, start a conversation back at work. Change the culture, because you want to create a joyful culture where you have a no more foofer culture. Put up a sign, no foofers. Make sure everybody is joyful on purpose every day, and the foofers will leave because they hate it. So ready? Here we go. On the count of 3, limber up. Try to look happy as you do this. 1, remember what you're doing? Stop it. Then I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. 1, 2, 3, go. Stop it. Oh, I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. Stop it. I'm a spirit igniter, not a foofer. Oh, nice. Nice. Come on back, come on back. Now make sure. Why are you looking at her like that? Is she not joining in? Okay, come on back, come on back. Quick. We haven't got that much time. Now, now of course with these people at the suck end, the truth is, come on back, that they don't actually suck. The truth is they are stuck. And remember how I said you guys are in a special subcategory? It's true, actually. And just by your responses, it's true. Now, what you guys have is a separate subgroup up here. You've got a bell curve within this successful lot. But the problem is, or the opportunity is, that they're still split into 3. There's some who are super successful, have like super joyful practices. There are some who are average, which is pretty good compared with most. And there are still some who suck. They just suck less. So we've all got room to grow. And this T, what's the difference that makes the difference between these 3 groups? And what is it? I'll help you. But yell it out. Don't sit there like a mingy little saying nothing. So it's a T, I-N-G, what is it? You're thinking. No, trying. That was good. I haven't heard that before. It's your thinking. And you know, this is a pretty sophisticated group. You're all well educated. You're all in probably very high level practices. And so when you see somebody saying, it's your thinking, be very careful, because these people are going, she's right. I haven't thought about it for a while. These people, yeah? And these people, duh. And so I'm giving you clues on where you fit in. But the bottom line is, we've all become so sophisticated. Look at the technology that's out there. Look at the technology that we saw with the first video this morning. We're all so woo that we forget about the basics. How much have humans changed in the last 1,000 years? Not. Basically, we don't drag people around by their hair anymore, but anyway, you know, in terms of thinking. Now, what's the most important thing in life that everything is about? It's F-I-N-G-S. Now I'm putting the S on because, and I'm going to add this word here because, this letter. Because I was somewhere the other day, and I have done this for a year. You know, nobody's gone that way. And this particular time, and I realized, so what is it? It's feelings, yes. It's feelings. Everything in life is about feelings. Everything. Is somebody going to come back to you if they don't feel good around you? No. Is somebody going to come back if they don't trust you? What's trust? And that's why the culture in the office has to be so good, or your practice. I'm calling it office practice because it's both. And if you just stick in the medical mindset and the medical model, you're not going to get anywhere. Everything has to change. And we have to go back to the basics. What causes how we feel, by the way? Hint. It's our thinking. What you think determines how you feel. Now, and the greatest gift I can give you, greatest gift is to become an O-V-E-R. What is it of your thinking? You're not good at hangman, are you? Man. Okay, I'll help. What is it? An observer, yes. Become an observer of your thinking, because we now know in epigenetics that I'll help. Oh, no, I'm going to make you do this. Look, truly, how many of you have heard of epigenetics? Oh, not that many. So epigenetics, going beyond the genes. The guy who made it popular is Bruce Lipton, as in Teabag, and he wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. It's also a YouTube documentary. He's a really interesting presenter. Go and watch the video. Buy the book. All of you read it. How many of you are parents? Quick, I haven't got much time. Almost everyone. How many not parents? Okay, excellent. How many choose not to be parents? How many want parents? How many are? You know, I got into trouble the other day because I didn't cover every single aspect of children and parenting. I'm really sorry. Stop it, America. Just stop it. It's like ridiculous. Anyway, so if you get offended, very hard to take offense when you're up here because you don't take everything personally. Anyway, so if you're a parent, you need to know this stuff as well. And please, it's called The Biology of Belief. And guess what? It is not your genes that determine your future. Do you get that? It is not your genes that determine your future. What is it? Because these people here want to be the best version of themselves, always. And that is the goal of someone at this end. And this is the kind of pattern for someone who actually leads a joyful life, fully lives. And a joyful life doesn't mean you never have a bad moment or you never have a down moment. It just means you choose to think differently. And so it's not your genes that determine your future. It is your FS, what is it? Beliefs. It's your beliefs. So what is it that you believe about yourself and about everyone around you? Now keep all of that in mind. Keep observing what you're thinking and observe what comes up when I say this. So the person that you've interacted with already, that you've looked into their eyes, that you've said stop it to, is from this day forwards forever your official joy buddy. Yes, see, look, and these people are going, joy buddy? Awesome! I've always wanted a joy buddy. And there's always one in the office, isn't it? The joy buddy who comes in, morning, morning. And the other average grumpy ones go, oh, Miss Happy's back. Or Mr. Happy's here. Stop it, you people in this section. Join the belief in things are going to be working out today. Join the people who choose to believe it's going to be a good day and that no matter what happens, something good will come out of it. Choose to be people who run on gratitude and not on fear. So, joy buddies, you have a really important role in life. And by the way, these people go awesome, these people go, and these people go, I knew I should have sat somewhere else. And what we're going to talk about, roughly, is neuroscience, epigenetics, emotional intelligence, and positive psychology, but we probably don't have time for that. Now, in terms of neuroscience and in terms of leadership, and you're all in leadership roles here, you know, a leader's job is threefold. The first part is to change people's behaviour. And these people know people can change. These ones, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. A leopard never changes its spots. You can't be thinking like that and exist in a joyful world. People change in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, when you tell them a story that touches their hearts. When you tell them a story that touches their hearts. And by the way, what's a belief? A belief is a series of thoughts, repeated thoughts. So how many of you would say in the room that you're shy? Quick, we haven't got much time. Okay, so guess what? Good news, you're not shy. Because babies are not born shy. Babies don't pop out here, look around and go, hi, I'm shy. They never do that. Have you ever met a shy 1 to 2 year old? It doesn't happen. But about 2, 3, 4, somewhere the toddler is, and they're scared. And they grip onto mummy or daddy's leg, and mummy or daddy drags them around, and mummy or daddy, to cover for them, says, no, she's shy, she's fine. No, he's fine, he's just shy. By the time you've heard the words, you're shy, he's shy, she's shy, 4 or 5 times, what are you? Shy, because the story you've begun to tell yourself, which is a series of repeated thoughts, or one thought at a time of trauma, is ruling your life. You are not your story. Joy buddies, you are accountability buddies and resilience buddies. And your first mission, should you choose to accept it, is to commit to talking to your joy buddy at least once a month. So that's 2 phone calls or coffees or little 20-minute moments with your joy buddy each month. Now, these people, they are going, awesome. My own personal mentor. Yes, that's a great idea. I can work on my life with my joy buddy, not just trapped in my life. And that's true. These people are going, what? I haven't got time to scratch myself, let alone talk to 2 extra people like twice a month. That's 2 calls a month. And these people are going, nah. Just nah. Not doing it. Ridiculous. But seriously, your joy buddy can be your accountability buddy. And if you decide to work on your life and take on board some of these ideas, talk with your joy buddy about it each month. You're into personal growth and development, or you wouldn't be here. So use those joy buddies. And one of the core things in terms of neuroscience is that we can change. We change in a heartbeat when you tell a story that touches their hearts. The second part of a leader's job is to create an environment in which people can be the best they can be, which is joy-filled and fear-free. Have you ever worked in a place where it's been run on fear? And what was it like? Hideous. You can guarantee people were not happy. People were sabotaging left, right, and centre. It's important to pay attention to people's feelings in the workplace. And then the third part of a leader's job is to help people believe in themselves. Because belief in your own ability is a better predictor of success than any level of skill. So joy buddies, talk about those things when you're communicating each month. How are you going at changing people's behaviour? How are you going at creating an environment in which people can be the best they can be? How are you going at helping people believe in themselves? And if we come back to here, so we've got the neuroscience, which proves we can change our minds. We've got the epigenetics, which is going beyond your genes and into your beliefs and exploring those beliefs. And by the way, with emotional intelligence, everybody's heard of emotional intelligence, we just don't sort of dive in much. There's a guy called Todd Sampson in Australia who's done a whole lot of TV programs where he does the most amazingly dangerous, outrageous things, and to prove that you can change the brain, you can teach the brain to do new things. And one of the things he's discovered along the way is that emotional regulation, is one of the most important skills that we need as adults. Anyway, that's how you spell it, regulation. And that we are not teaching it to our children. Does that make sense? And you look at social media, what are we teaching children? Dreadful things. We're teaching them to compare themselves with others, to look at what somebody's eating for lunch or dinner and judge themselves on it. This is where judgment lives, down here, by the way. This is where blame lives, and excuses as well. And we're not teaching them anything about emotional regulation. So everything I'm talking about today is how you teach that. And then in the middle here is the sweet spot. This is where you want to be. This is where you want your practice to be. And I call that the joy spot. Not that one. Whenever, I don't know what story you were telling yourselves or what you were thinking, but my version of the joy spot is that you create your practice, your entire office, as a joy spot, because the brain can't tell the difference between vividly imagined and reality. And if you make the place joyful, if you have bright colours around, don't have nasty smells, have it smell good. You don't want it to smell antiseptic. It triggers horrible memories in people. And there are so many cultural patterns around dentistry, isn't there? Go like this, yes. People don't go, awesome, today's the day for the orthodontist. Woohoo! You want to change that. Somehow bring it into make work a joy spot. And for the rest of you, you can play. You've got, areas in the office where you could get a hula hoop. And that hula hoop's the joy spot. Tuck it away in the corner. And if you have a really difficult patient that walks in or a difficult client, the energy-sucking, spirit-foofing client, then go to the joy spot afterwards. And if you think of joyful moments in your life, or if you create a folder on your desktop and into it you drag happy family videos, you drag photos of precious moments in your life, put in music that you love, and you visit your joy spot, it's a resilient spot. So your joy buddy is in fact your joy spot as well. So on the count of 3, joy buddies, you're going to turn to each other, observe your thinking. What did you think I'm going to make you do? And you are going to say, I am a walking joy spot. I am a walking joy spot. Okay, ready? And by the way, if somebody turns to you, if you've gone to FOWOT and you're embarrassed over this, why are you thinking about yourself? It's not about you. It's about the person on either side of you and how they'll feel at the end of an interaction with you. And if you're incredibly important and famous and all that sort of stuff, and you think this is beneath you, and you turn to the person next to you and you go, this is ridiculous, don't bother. Just turn to them and go, okay? So ready? On the count of 3, I am a walking joy spot, both sides. What? And look like you mean it too, will you? 2, 3, go. I am a walking joy spot. I am a walking joy spot. Nice, nice. And quick, come on back. Whenever we get lots of women, it's very difficult to get attention back. Come on. You do this with 1,000 men, and the guys go, I'm a walking joy spot. And the women, I'm a walking joy spot. Because there's a big difference between what women do when they're stressed and what men do when they're stressed, but we don't have time to. Oh, by the way, I'll just tell you this because we haven't got much time to go into detail. Guess what? It is not stress that makes you sick. It is not stress that makes you sick. The latest research shows it's what you believe about stress that makes people sick or not. Look very carefully, observe very carefully what you're telling yourself every minute of every day. I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed, I'm so stressed. I know it's bad for me, I shouldn't be stressed. Stop it. But become an observer of your thinking. Because, did I tell you what? No, I didn't. What percentage of the time are we unconscious of our thoughts? Do you know, in epigenetics? 95 to 9, remember what I said? Did I say this? I'm having a menopausal moment. You think I'm joking? No. Menopause is very difficult. When your mothers start going through menopause, be kind. Be very kind. If you have wives going through it, be very kind. Okay, so it's 95 to 99% of the time, truly, we are unconscious of what we're thinking. We're running on fears, and habits and patterns are linked to those fears. And most of us live lives of habits and patterns, and we don't even know we're doing it. But once we start to observe our thinking, we get a clue as to what fears are running in the background. And I'll be giving you those fears shortly. So the other part is, when somebody says to you, what do you do? What do you guys answer? Oh, I work in an orthodontist office. I'm an entrepreneur. people go, oh, yeah, and then they stop smiling because they're embarrassed about their teeth. And, think about it. I say things that often have truth in them. But instead, imagine what would happen. And imagine how different your world would be if you believed you were a CJF. What do you think that is? You're going to love it. It's a Chief Joy Facilitator. Think about that. Seriously, if you believed you were a CJF. Now these people, look, they go, oh my God, that's it. I'm putting that on my business card tomorrow. Oh, this is such a great idea. I'm going to have a sign at the desk. I'm going to put it on my chair. Yes. And these people are going, yeah, that's a good idea. Ha ha. And these people, this is getting worse. How can I get out of here now? But truthfully, if you saw yourself as a CJF, how would your behavior change on a day-to-day basis? What would you be like when you woke up in the morning? Would you wake up and think, yeah, it's another day? Or would you wake up and go, CJF, how can I do with my kids this morning? And if you ever sat there and you thought, I got a bunch of fuffers at home, where should you be looking? In the mirror. That's where, because that's where they learn to be fuffers. So, Joy Buddies, on the count of 3, you're going to look one side, then the other, and say, I am a CJF. I am a CJF. And notice what happens on the inside as you say it. If you have a little voice, observe your thinking. A little voice that comes up and says, this is ridiculous, or no, you're not. Pay attention, because there may be something that you could do differently to work on your life and become a better parent, a better leader, a better colleague, a better everything, a better friend. So ready? On the count of 3, I am a CJF. 1, 2, 3, go. I am a CJF. I am a CJF. Awesome. And these sticky things are always difficult. Here we go. So come back for a second, come back. Because everything in life is about what? It's about feelings. Everything in life is about feelings. And the single most important thing in life, and much as I make fun of some of these things, and we make it funny because otherwise you would be bored stupid for an hour, much as I make it funny, this is profound. So I wrote a book on joy, and we took the principles and introduced it to a primary school, where the number one issue in a primary school was self-harming. What are we doing to our children? So we introduced the principles, and within a term, the self-harming had stopped. And pretty much everything I'm teaching you here is what we taught at the school. And what we found is that the single most important thing in life, the single most important thing is how you feel about yourself. Look, your face is up. What is it? It's yourself. It's how you feel about yourself. And when you first fall in love, you've all been in love, and if you haven't been in love, you've seen a movie about love, and you've seen someone else fall in love. So we've all had an experience of falling in love. When you're first in love, what's life like? It's fabulous. You crash the car, never mind, it's all right, it's okay, it's only a car. Something else happens, you fall off a chair, it's okay, I just fell off a chair. Nothing is a problem because you feel so fabulous about yourself, because there's someone else looking at you and seeing the astonishing being of light that you are. You are, every single one of you, astonishing beings of light, housed in a temple. So you're going to love this one. Joy Buddy, it's on the count of 3, very fast. You're going to turn to your Joy Buddy, one side, then the other, and say, you are an astonishing being of light. B-E-I-N-G, right? And then I want you to observe now, first of all, what happened in your head. What did you think? What story did you tell yourself about this? What? This is getting worse. I've done everything else. I'm not going to do this one. And if somebody says to you, you are an astonishing being of light, and you hear a little voice, little story in your head going, no, you're not, you're a black hole, then there's work to be done. Okay, so ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. You are an astonishing being of light. You are an astonishing being of light. Nice, nice. Now, quick, come back. Because, quick, come back. If the most important thing in life is how you feel about yourself, Go forth, Joy Buddies, and speak to each other on a monthly basis. And one of the core questions you can ask each other each month is, how are you feeling about yourself this month? And that will give you the clues as to where to work on, because here are the 3 core fears that underpin most people. And I got the trifecta. This is how I know. Most of you will have one or the other. And the first is, I am not worth loving. And most females get this one. I, in fact, took it to an extra level. I took it to, I was worthless, completely worthless. And most men get, I am not good enough. I haven't got time to spell the whole word, that's it. So, the truth is, you are absolutely worth loving. Every single one of you, absolutely worth loving. And you are absolutely good enough, and it doesn't mean that you can't become the best version of yourself, that you've reached that already. But what you're about to do, Joy Buddies, may be the first time in your Joy Buddies' lives that anybody has ever consciously said this to them. No one talks about this out loud, and yet it underpins almost everything. Every behavior at work, every problem that you see in your children, it's all stemming from this. Bullies, it stems from this. Every behavioral mispattern stems from this. So on the count of 3, you're going to look at your Joy Buddy one side, then the other. If it's a girl Joy Buddy, you're going to say, with as much feeling as you can, heart to heart, you're going to say, you are so worth loving. And then if it's a boy Joy Buddy, you're going to say, you are so good enough. And then listen, observe the stories that come up in your head. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. You are so worth loving. You are so good enough. Awesome, awesome. Fabulous. Quick, come back. Here's the second one. Now, I hope you didn't have any little voices going, no, you're not, you suck, you're not worth loving, you're not good enough, you never were. These are all places to start working on yourself. We just don't have time to do it this morning. The second core fear, I am unsafe in some way. And this is very common as a belief system in people who had an alcoholic parent, or a parent with mental health issues, or drug addicted parents. And sadly, that's more and more common. So the younger people that you're employing in your practices are highly likely to have something like this, which leads to very dysfunctional behaviors, in particular controlling. See, I didn't know any of this. I found out that piece when I was married the second time, and where my husband at the time, we're still good friends now, he said, you're very controlling. And well, of course, who had done the university college degree? Who had studied psychology? Who was the physical therapist? So I looked at him and I said, that's projection. Took about a year for me to realize there was just a hint of truth in what he said. Just a hint, of course, not much. But you know, when you feel unsafe, you want to control everything around you. You want to control people. You want to control the situation, because that's the only way you can feel safe. And that's part of a leader's job, and every person in the office's job, to make it a safe environment. And we talk about that a lot these days, because it's becoming more and more of an issue as people are more and more poorly emotionally regulated. Is that true? So as you start to create a culture of joy in your offices and practices, as you really do start to focus on it as a specific business principle, you'll find that you'll be able to help people get through some of these fears, and that then changes their behaviors, which makes it a way better place to work, far more efficient and with way better results. And then the third core fear is separation. Please go home and talk to your children about these. I don't care how old your children are, just talk to them. But the interesting thing is, these core fears are embedded by the time you're 0 to 7. So somewhere between 0 to 7. You were all 0 to 7 once, so which one of these have you got, or more? And very uncommon to not have any, because that's part of being human. That's where we grow and develop. But in 0 to 7, we can stem it if we've got 0 to 7-year-olds. Once they're past 7, talk to them out loud about it and ask them how they feel about themselves. Have the conversations, and then start to refocus them and tell them how much you love them, and specifically what it is that you love about them and how proud you are of them. Because if you want to develop a growth mindset in children children or adults, it's critical that we praise E-M-M-O-R-T. What is it? Effort. If you praise talent, skills, abilities, or intelligence, you will help develop a fixed mindset. But when you praise effort, it develops a growth mindset. And so between 0 and 7, and even past 0 and 7, and with the people at work, praise the effort, not what they're doing specifically or only. And try to address what you're doing when you've got how many of you got 0 to 7-year-olds? Oh, lots of you. Awesome. Well, go back and watch your behavior, because how you feel about yourself will determine how the children feel about themselves as well. And this concept of separation is so fundamental. Loneliness now is endemic. About at least a quarter of the population says they're lonely. And that's the equivalent of smoking a packet of cigarettes a day. And this sense of B-G-I-N-G, what is it? Belonging. This sense of belonging is absolutely critical for humans. So how much does everybody feel they belong in your practices in terms of leadership? If you've got someone who's the outcast, the foofer, the whatever, they've got to go. Either get them to integrate or get them gone, because they're not happy and it's dragging everything else down. Does this resonate? Is it making sense to you? And when children feel they don't belong at school, what does that do to them? It decimates how they feel about themselves. So we've got to start to pay conscious attention to that sense of belonging. And then the other thing that's absolutely critical, if the most important thing in life is how you feel about yourself, what do you think the number one thing is that people want in life? I'll help you. It's recognition and acknowledgement. Yes, it's recognition and acknowledgement. Very good. And so I'm going to share with you 2 ways you can do it. Absolutely free and cost and take no time. And by the way, I know that we have to be professional at work. It's very important to be professional. I was a physical therapist. I know about this sort of stuff. But do you know, it is absolutely possible to be extremely professional and have fun. Absolutely. Notice there are no men yelling out, yes, that's a good idea. And be very careful, because when you have a culture where you're called doctor and there's this kind of classy thing, and any of you who are here are going, oh, she's touching on a touchy subject, but that's good. And these people, she's a bitch. No. I just talk about truth and reality a lot of the time that we don't want to talk about out loud. And if you've got somebody who doesn't feel they belong, if we've got somebody who's so far up themselves it's dark, and, well, we're professional, we can't have laughter in this place. Are you kidding? I used to walk around and my patients would just have surgery, and I'd take something around to, and I'd hear, she's coming, grab onto something, she's going to make us laugh. And they'd have to, but I had taught them what to hang on to so it wouldn't hurt to laugh. And then when they laughed, what would they do? Cough. And that's what I had to do. A physical therapist's job is to make people hurt, basically. And in Australia, we're different from here. You kind of separated physical therapy into like 18 different jobs. Well, we do all of them. And I used to make my outpatient treatments fun. And it would be joyful. I loved what I did. And my patients loved me, and they would try harder for me, and they would be more compliant. I'd get presents from other people's patients. I shared. I didn't keep it all. And so it is absolutely possible to be extremely professional, if not more professional than most people, and have a joyful work environment that actually works well. So Joy Buddies, quick, on the count of 3, turn to the person next to you, your Joy Buddy, one side then the other, and say one thing that you've learned out of this that you're going to do differently from now on before I share with you how to acknowledge people. Go. 1, 2, 3, go. One thing that you've learned so far that you're going to do differently. Observe your thinking will do, if nothing else. Make sure you're not down here. Address these fears. And now quick, come on back. Some of you would have said, I'm going to fire 3 people. Quick, come on back. You can talk about this at the break. So here are the 2 ways you can acknowledge people and recognize them, and it takes no time. The first one is from the Wiggles. You know the Wiggles? The Aussie group? You know how the Wiggles go like this? I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want to say yes or excellent? Now, how many want to say yes? And how many want to say excellent? How many want me to vaporize right now? No, build a bridge, get over it. So on the count of 3, you're going to look at your joy buddy one side, then the other, and go, yes, and then excellent. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Yes, and excellent. Now imagine walking around the practice and you do that to your colleagues and you do it to your patients. Your patient comes in, they've done something really good and you go, excellent, that's a great job. What do you think your patient's going to do? Look at you and go, you're a moron? No, they're going to look at you and go, awesome, they're really happy with me, fantastic, I feel good about myself. And then the second one, you know when little kids do ta-das, what do grown-ups do? We go, yay! And little kids are smart. As soon as you've done that a couple of times, how often do they do ta-das? They do them everywhere. They pee, ta-da. They poo, ta-da. They eat, ta-da. And we keep reinforcing it. Well, I write a monthly newsletter. You can sign up on our website. It's free. But I write about ta-das. And I realized as I was writing that about age 8, it becomes uncool to do ta-das. But on the inside, we are closet ta-darists. We are doing all the time. And the single most demotivating thing you can do is to not see people silent ta-das. So go forth from today and look for the ta-das. Because somebody will come in and they'll go, well, I just sterilized everything. So I cleaned it all, I sterilized everything. What are they doing on the inside? Ta-da! If you don't see that, if you look at them and go, well, you should be, and you're telling yourself the story, that's your job, you should have been doing it anyway, blah, 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 and you respond that way, what happens to their ta-da? It's like, ta, you suck. And off they go. You've got to look for people silent ta-da. So to embed this into your cellular memory, on the count of 3, joy buddies, this is a little more complicated. I have to work it out for you, right? So one of you will say to the other, I think you deserve a ta-da. Your other person will go, ta-da. And you will go, yes. And then you'll swap. I think you deserve a ta-da. They will go, ta-da. And then, excellent. Got it? Here we go. 1. And by the way, throw yourselves into this. If you're too mature and sophisticated to do it, there's work to be done. So ready? All you're doing is cheering up someone else and giving them a ta-da. So sit up straight. Don't be lounging back in those seats. Come on. 1, 2, 3, go. I think you deserve a ta-da. Ta-da! Yes. I think you deserve a ta-da. Ta-da! Excellent. Awesome. Awesome. And you may want to give Glenn and everybody on the team a huge ta-da throughout this event. Give them a lot of ta-das because they deserve it. And ta-da each other and meet different people and give them a ta-da when they do something new. Maybe if somebody's got the courage to come and introduce themselves to you and say, hi, I'm from blah and I'm a CJF, give them a ta-da. So spread the word, create that ta-da culture. And then if we go on to epigenetics, emotional intelligence. Now we know that emotional intelligence is at the core of everything. It's that emotional regulation. Now how do we do it? And there are 3 core things: know yourself, and manage relationships. And the other F word, hey folks, can we watch that first world problems video in about a second or a minute or so? Because here's another F word. It's a choice again. What is it? What we choose to focus on. And we make that decision consciously every day. And if we're ready for that first world problems video, have a look at this, which is a great thing to show back at the office. Can we have it? You got it there?
Every year of every day, thousands of people fall victim to FWP.
I'm so cold.
Starving.
A little bit louder.
Also known as first world problems.
I'm so cold. Somebody set the AC to 72. I need it at 73.
Starving. All we have is leftovers.
Nobody cares about me. Nobody Nobody commented or liked my status?
Hi, I'm Ryan Higa, and for just 5 hours of attention a day, you could help somebody with FWP.
Everyone keeps putting so much pressure on me. I don't know what I want for my birthday.
I have too much chips for my dip. But if I open a new dip, I'll have too much dip for my chips.
Why does Apple keep making new iPhones? Now I have to get another one?
They've been
we
through
turn it
so
up
much
a bit?
struggle,
The remote's over there. But I'm all the way over here.
so much hardship,
My iPhone 5 is too big for my skinny jeans.
so much attention.
I poured my cereal without checking to see if we had milk. We did it.
So please, show your support and send them this video, and show them how much we care about their FWPs.
I bought too many groceries. Now I'll have to make 2 trips.
All you have to do is call the URL, 1-800.org, and we'll send you the FWP helping kit, which includes a bridge, a straw, and a full cup with a cover. Here's a bridge. Now get over it. Here's a straw. Now suck it up. Here's a full cup. Now shut the full cup. With your help, we can put an end to FWPs and focus on the real problems, like starving children or homeless people. Because if you're complaining about something as silly as the iPhone 5, just wait till you see the iPhone 6. Oh, this is the iPhone 5S. This is the iPhone 6.
Isn't that awesome? Now, when you go back to work, get yourselves a plastic bag and show everybody this video, of course, and get yourselves a plastic bag, put a picture of a bridge, a straw, and a cup with a lid in it. And if you're having a team meeting and somebody's whinging, say nothing. You just slide it across to them and say, take your pick. Because seriously, do we have anything to worry about at a deep level? Seriously? We live in America. Yes, there's a few odd things happening at the moment, and your president is interesting, but we live in America. You know, we're not starving with no food in the nation. So everything pretty much is a first world problem unless it's a critical health issue. So go back and start to reframe everything, which brings me to the final piece that is the pièce de résistance. It is the master reframer in life. It is the way that you can maintain joy your whole time. It's how you be the CJF on a regular basis. So you're going to love it. Everybody go like this. And it's how you be a way better parent as well. So like this. Now over your eyes, everyone. If your joy buddy's not doing it, go like this and help them. Like that one on his phone, just there. There you go. Now, these are your gratitude glasses. Keep them on, keep them on, keep them on. On the count of 3, you're going to turn to your joy buddy and say, thank you. I am so grateful for you. Thank you, I'm so grateful for you. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you. I am so grateful for you. Thank you. I am so grateful for you. Now you can take them down. But I love these. They are free. They are with you everywhere. And it's your choice whether you choose to look at everything that happens to you with your gratitude glasses on or not. Because no matter what happens, you can find something for which to be grateful. And you know, if you don't like these, get yourselves a set of these. And by the way, I noticed that in your bag of fantastic goodies, how good are your goodies? Like, I go to conferences all the time. You've got the best bag of goodies ever. There's a set of these. These can be your gratitude glasses. When you go back to work, put these on. Now, I know you're professional people, but you know, if a patient walks in and you know they've had a lot of pain, when they walk in, why did you have these on? They're not going to look at you and say, right, I'm out of here, that's it, have your braces back. They're not going to do that. They're going to look at you and say, oh, I like your glasses. And you can say, I know, aren't they fabulous? These are my gratitude glasses, and I would like to share with you why I am so grateful you're my patient. Or why I'm so grateful you're at this practice. Like, what? They're going to look at you and go, I hate you. No, they're going to love you forever. They'll probably make their teeth crooked again afterwards so they can come back. You know, they never want to leave you because nobody's ever done that to them. It's the difference that makes the difference. You can walk around the office with them stuck down here. When you have staff meetings, put them on the table as well. If somebody's complaining, slide these across the table and say, would you like to tell us why you're grateful you've got a job? And you can start a new ritual that I promise transforms your practices. If at the beginning of every staff meeting you create a new ritual, and that ritual is that everybody talks about the thing they're most grateful for since you last met. Now you start to create a culture of gratitude. And that's what you need to do with your children. At the dinner table, talk to the children every night about the thing for which they're most grateful that day. Because how do we teach children gratitude normally? We say, thank you to your brother. Say thank you to your... Say thank you to your brother. That does not teach children gratitude. But sitting around the table at night, asking each one of them what they're grateful for does teach them gratitude. And you model it. I promise you, if you remember nothing else from what I've said today, if you won't be a walking joy spot, if you won't be a joy buddy, if you won't be a CJF, if you've refused to observe your thinking, and all the other things that I've talked about today, to help people feel they belong, to create safe environments, to help people believe in themselves, to check the story you're telling yourself about yourself. Because you are not your story, but your story rules your life. You are not your story, but your story rules your life. Go out there and talk to your joy buddy about the story you've told yourself about yourself forever, because 99.9% of the time it's not true. And I haven't got time to share with you how in my life at 60, I'm 65 now, at 63 I discovered the real stories I was telling myself and how it has transformed everything I do now. So I promise you it's really worthwhile. So quick, everybody stand up, stand up, stand up. And put the things in your hands down, especially your iPhones. And shimmy across the middle. So everybody's going to have to shimmy a little bit so we become one giant Orthopreneur connected group, because that connection, that H to H, is everything we want to do. And put an arm around each other. In a minute we're going to play that other video, guys. So come in. We're all one big happy Orthopreneur entrepreneur group. Remember, you're a CJF. If you got grumpy about having to get up and move, there's work to be done. If you're standing there, I don't want to put my arm around a person either side of me, work to be done. Because this is human. This is humanity. Connecting with everybody and becoming heart to heart. The energy of the group is way greater than the sum of the individual parts, as Buckminster Fuller said. So we are going to, quick, just turn to your joy buddy, and one more thing that you've learned that you're going to do differently from now on. Keep hanging on, we're connected. If you're short, don't do the shoulders, go the waist, it's more comfortable. Ready? Go, 1, 2, 3, go, quick, tell them one thing you're going to do differently. Quick, you've got all of this, look. Gratitude glasses. Focus, feelings, focus. Be a joy spot, be a CJF. Get the biology of belief, read that. Eliminate these fears, talk about them, all of that stuff. Now quick, because we're nearly out of time and Glenn's going to get upset. So we are going to do something that lifts your spirit, it helps you breathe, it makes you feel fabulous. We are going to sing. Yes, we're going to sing, and we're going to dance as well. And we are going to sing to embed the concept of feelings being important.